Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first week of Sociology 101, a late start class or perhaps a summer class if you are taking it in the summer. Um, uh, what I like to do with lectures is hold a lecture quiz along with the lecture. And this is a very short quiz that does not require any type of studying or anything. It just helps me to know that you have listened to the lectures in this class. And you complete the lectures by following along with the video as you complete the lecture. So I'm going to ask you to pause the recording now and go back to the Canvas window and open the Week 1 lecture quiz under the Week 1 module. You will complete the lecture quiz as you listen to the lecture over all 3 videos. So pause now and then come back and we will continue. So a little bit about me. My name is Lori Dushoni. This is me in the top right-hand corner of the slide. I have been teaching sociology for about 12 years. I've been teaching at Ohlone College for about 5 years. I live in Berkeley, California. I have one son this is him down in the right-hand corner. And I have one dog. Her name is Ivy. She's here in the lower left-hand corner. In the top left-hand corner is a picture of me and my son and my dad at a Giants game. And you know it's the summer at a Giants game by our big down jackets because you know it's cold there in the summer. I love teaching sociology. This is not my first career. Before this, I actually designed clothes and costumes, but I fell in love with sociology in college, and I decided to make it my career. So, if you look at your lecture quiz, you will see that the first question was about my dog, and the answer is that I have one dog. So we only have one requirement for materials in this course. It's a book called You May Ask Yourself by Dalton Conley. We are looking for you to use the 5th edition in this class. There are other weekly readings and videos in Canvas, and you can find them under each week's module. Be sure to read them as we, move throughout the course. Reading is very important in this course and in any online course. So a lot of what you will be learning through the reading in your book. And so be sure to keep up on the readings each week. It's sometimes a good idea to read a week in advance. And then, it might be helpful to listen to do the readings before you listen to these recordings. So this is an overview of the course requirements. We have weekly lectures and weekly lecture quizzes. So we have lectures all 8 weeks of the course. They are pre-recorded and made available on Wednesdays. We have weekly response journals. They are due on Saturdays. And we have discussion board assignments in 6 weeks out of the 8 weeks in the course. We also have 2 exams, one midterm and one final. So this is an overview. I'd like to go through each of those separately. So we have weekly lectures like the one you're listening to right now. These are generally 15 minutes long, and you will have between 3 and 5 of them each week. So 3 to 5 15-minute recordings each week. Lectures are mandatory, and content is important for course success. Now, you don't have to listen to them at any certain time. You can choose the time that you want to listen to them any time before Saturday in the week that they are assigned. I do recommend that you listen to the lectures before Thursdays. or when they come out, honestly, on Wednesdays or Thursday mornings, because I often discuss upcoming assignments in the lectures. Lecture slides are available the weeks after the lecture. So once you have turned in your lecture quiz, I make the lecture slides available on the Saturday of that week. So regarding the lecture quizzes, there are 8 lecture quizzes in this course. They are worth 5 points each, so 40 points total since there's 8 of them. The purpose of the lecture quizzes is really just to be sure that you have listened to the lectures. They are 5 very simple questions each with no studying needed. You're going to, as I mentioned before, you will take the quiz while listening to all given weekly lectures. So you'll just open the quiz and then follow along, and like I did on the slide where I showed you my pictures, I will give you the answers as we go along. So try to remember to open the quiz before the lectures begin, and as I said before, you can find the lecture quizzes under the module for the week that we are in. So we also have assignments called response journals. Each response journal, for the first 7 weeks of the course, response journals are 10 points each. And then in our last week, in week 8, the response journal is worth 20 points because it's an assignment about twice as long as the others. These are written assignments. They are completely private. The only people that can read them, is me. There are 8 journals. We have one every single week of the course. The most important thing is just to follow the instructions carefully. The journal in week 5 is a research project, and so that one is going to be a little more involved. You're going to need to spend a little more time on the one in week 5 and go out and do some research in the community. So be sure to save time for that one. Gosh, I think I made a mistake on my next slide. So in week 5, there's no discussion board assignment. There's only this research project. So be sure to allow yourself some extra time for that. And that is that's the answer to your second lecture quiz question, that the journal in week 5 is a research project. All right, we also have discussion boards. We have discussion boards in 6 out of the 8 weeks of the class. These are a very important component in the course. It's where you interact with each other and where a lot of learning takes place. I interact with you as well. So we will have discussion boards in week 1 and every week except for weeks 5 and 8. This is really important, this next bullet point. So you have 2 due dates on each discussion board. There is what we call a main post, or where you respond to a prompt, and that's due on Thursdays at 11:59 p.m. And then there's a second due date, which is where you respond to your peers. You're asked to provide 2 responses to 2 different peers in your discussion board each week. And these are due on Saturdays at 11:59 p.m. The important thing to know is that Canvas only alerts you to the Saturday due date, so you will have to keep track of the Thursday due date yourself. So I wanted to so these are 20 points each. They are the thing that carries the most points in the course. So make sure that you spend plenty of time, follow the instructions. A lot of times my instructions are pretty detailed. So be sure that you follow those carefully. Oh, and I wanted to mention my role. So my role in the discussion board, I will be interacting with you guys, and it's important for you to know that if you respond to one of my responses, that it counts as a peer response. So that will count towards your grade if you respond to me. So we do have 2 exams in the course. We have a midterm and a final exam. The midterm begins on the Thursday of week 4. I'm recording this during spring 2018, when it is the midterm exam begins Thursday, April 19th, and it's open for 48 hours and closes on Saturday, April 21st. The midterm covers weeks 1 through 4, and there is a study guide available for that now. The final exam begins on Wednesday, May 16th, and it will be open for 48 hours again, beginning 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, May 16th, and then it will close on Friday at 11:59 p.m. on May 18th. The final is not comprehensive, and it covers weeks 5 through 8. There is the study guide for the final exam will be available in week 5 after you've taken your midterm. There is 60 minutes. You have 60 minutes to take each one. Once you start, you can start any time during those 48 hours. Once you start, however, you have to complete the entire exam all in one sitting. There's no ins and outs. You can't get up. You can't pause. Nothing like that. You need to plan 60 minutes to take your exam. There are no makeups, so please plan your schedule accordingly. If you already know you have a conflict in your schedule, I will need to hear about it during week 1. I will not accept excuses after week 1. So use your study guides beginning this week to help you guide your reading for the midterm and the final exams. Okay, so that concludes our first video for week 1. We still have 2 to go. So hang on. If you haven't finished your, you won't have finished your lecture quiz yet, so you can pause that one until you listen to the second video. Okay, thanks for hanging in there with me.